When I started posting online, it was just gym content and simple videos, quick edits, nothing deep. But then something interesting happened. People didn't just watch, they started to get connected. Then one day, I switched things up. I started talking to the camera, sharing thoughts, lessons, and experiences. And the connection sort of like got deeper. It wasn't just about what I was doing anymore, it was about who I was becoming in front of them. That's when I realized visibility isn't a one-time thing, it's a journey. There is a process to how people start noticing you, then trusting you, and eventually seeing you as someone they can't ignore. In this episode, I break down exactly what the process of framework looks like and how you can start being seen in a way that actually matters. Let's get into the conversation. I believe a couple of months ago, I was listening to someone talk about the law of attraction, and the way he sort of like explained it is different from what I used to know. And for me, to be honest, I've known law of attraction for a while now, and I've implemented it, and it has worked for me. But I've always wondered that, can you just be lazy and expect, quote unquote, the law of attraction to work? And the reason why I'm talking about the law of attraction is because the person was talking about, how do you find your purpose, or how do you determine what your purpose is on the earth? And the person was explaining that, the Bible only gave a certain explanation of, how to find your purpose, which is, I think he mentioned two things, but I can only remember one now. And the person said, whatever your hand find it to do it with all your strength and might, right? And I've always known that passage. I've always been that guy, trying my best at whatever I'm called to do, whether it's work, whether it's a church, whether it's anywhere. I've always been that guy. But I remember that I think in my second year in uni, I read a book. Either I read a book or I watched a YouTube video. And if memory serves me right, in that video, the person was explaining or was telling a story of a man that built, no, sorry, that as a child, he saw a certain house, a fancy house. It was in a magazine and all. And then he pasted that house, or the picture of that house, sorry, on his wall in his room. And he was looking at it for years. And then eventually he moved out of his parents' house, went to college, went to uni, started his life, started working, became, I believe, an author. And then he got so rich, moved different house, got married, had kids, and then he moved into this particular house. And one day, there were boxes, that he had in his storage that he has not opened from his previous house, and he was just trying to unpack the box and try to sift through his books and all. And then he came across this page of this magazine, and I think the wow factor in the story is that the same exact house that he used to look at was the current house he was living in, and he never realized it, right? And that's the concept of, what law of attraction can do to you. And I remember this speaker that spoke about, whatever you find your, that the reason or the way to find your purpose rather is that, you need to focus on being your best at whatever you do. And the way he explained it is that if you want to do anything, or if you want to achieve certain things in life, the energy around the earth and the heaven is connected, is such that whatever your mind can see, you can attract it to yourself. Like, if you are on the same frequency with where whatever you're looking for is, it will definitely find you. His argument is that the exact thing you're looking for, whether it's money, whether it's fame, whether it's family, whether it's riches, whether it's marriage you are craving for right now, whatever it is already waiting for you, right? Let's say you're looking for $100 million. So there's $100 million on this hand, and then there is you, right? And you're trying to meet the $100, or you want to be on the same level as the $100 million. There's a certain word I'm looking for. Anyways, let's continue. So you're looking for, this is the $100, this is you. Now, the energy in your life has already seen the need for the $100 million. And then as you hear, you are you are supposed to be doing certain things that would make you rise to the level to which you can meet where that $100 is, $100 million. So now, but when you are at this point, it's always very difficult for we humans to position our mind to see things, to think big and all. But if we can stay consistent at, seeing our vision, making sure that our vision is consistent, making sure we are working towards what the vision is, the world will realign itself and bring um, whatever you desire to you. And I like to give a personal example at every point in time because honestly, a lot of what has happened to me in my life right now, I've seen it multiple times as a kid. Where I'm living now, I've probably seen it in. I used to think I've seen it in my dream or I've probably imagined it. And even when I was in Nigeria, when I used to work as like an NYC person, there was a certain office, there was a day rather in the office. I had like a form of deja vu and I was like, I've experienced this before, right? And that feeling always comes to me in multiple places all the time. And that's to show you that your energy sees certain things. So sometimes it might come to you in your dream, it might come to you maybe with your sense of imagination, and then when you eventually experience it, I think I think God just sort of like sends you a nudging that, at some point you were thinking about this, or I probably showing you this in your dream and you just didn't pay attention to it. Now this is what I was showing you, and that's what it is. And sometimes I feel like if we can all predict our future, or if we can all see what our future looks like, best believe we'll be extremely lazy. I think the reason why a lot of us work so hard is because we, again, have our different whys. There's a reason why we want to be successful. We want to create a better life for ourselves, our family, and our kids, and sort of like leave generational wealth for our kids, right? So that alone is enough push. But for example, if you can say that in the next 5 years you make $1 million, trust me, you'll just be doing your barest minimum right now. Anyways, let's get into today's topic before I keep rambling about this idea I had before recording this video. Anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about the three P's, or the three levels of being seen. And as you know, this podcast is all about gaining visibility. And in the first episode, we, spoke about how to become visible and why, visibility is essential for your brand. So in this episode, I'm going to be teaching you this framework that I've personally used. I came up with this framework because it's what I've seen that a lot of people who are visible online have been through. And this is an evolving framework, but it's a framework that would work for anybody that is currently not seen, or anybody that is probably thinking about, building a brand or selling a product online. Also, these three P's, or three levels of being seen, or this framework would help you even if you've already started and you're a little bit confused about where to sort of like position yourself, or which niche should you gravitate towards. I've heard people talk about or say things like, I'm multi-talented, multifaceted. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right or if the English is right. Anyways, they would say things like, I do a lot of things. I'm jack of all trades. Yes, being jack of all trades is good in its own right. I've been a jack of all trades. In fact, I can even say I'm a jack of all trades as of today, and I'm proud of it because, again, I don't have to rely on a lot of people to achieve certain things. But anyways, being jack of all trade, has its benefits, and at the same way, it has its own disadvantages. So, what this framework would help you do is help you transition from level 1, 2, and 3, right? And in each of these level, some of you might probably find yourself in probably level 2 or currently in level 3. I believe I'm currently in level 3 and I'm aiming for level 4. But right now, my framework ends with level 3, right? And this framework will be useful for you if you're still a little bit confused about the direction of your visibility online, or the direction to which you want to use to sell your products, your services online, and all the direction to which you want to take to impact the next generation. At the end of the day, it's not all about selling and making money. Sometimes it's just about helping people, being a role model in the society, right? And I think being visible, I think you have to be visible, right, before you can be a role model, or before anybody can even look up to you. For example, there are so many people that are my role models right now, and I've not given them $1, right? But they inspire me a lot. Like if I'm feeling down, if I'm going through things that that is affecting my mental health, so to speak, there are certain people I'll listen to, and then like that, my morale goes back up. My motive. What's the English word now? I know English can sometimes be difficult. Anyways, so I like to start this way and say this thing, which I believe is applicable to almost everybody. So everyone usually talk about being visible online, but nobody or no one talks about the process of visibility, right? Everyone would preach to you and say things like pick up a camera and just record, but no one talks about the level to which you can achieve the right visibility. The Sometimes it's not even about doing the right thing. It's about building resilience, building consistency, and those are the kind of things I'm going to talk about later on in this video. But people do not emphasize this thing. They make it seem as if it's a click and play funnel, or it's a click and play strategy. Everybody online would come and say, turn on your camera, record your ideas, you can go viral tomorrow. Again, visibility does not mean virality. Visibility does not mean virality. I'll say it again. Visibility does not mean virality. So you can be visible, or sorry, you can go viral and still be eating. I heard about this idea from someone, and the person said that you should think of the person that is like very famous, right? Let's say C. Ronaldo, for example. I can 100% tell you that, in fact, I've met people that don't know who C. Ronaldo is. Messi, probably you're even watching this video right now. You probably don't know who Messi is, right? And these are famous individuals. These people are very popular, right? So if your stuff goes viral, it might go viral to the wrong audience. Your stuff can also go viral and you don't even know how to monetize it. You don't even know who you are supposed to be talking to, right? So you need that sort of like understanding to manage your visibility and how you appear online and who you need to talk to, right? So like I said, visibility is not just about showing up. It's showing up with intention, right? So it's been about is that English correct? It's English. It's being recognized, being remembered, and it's being respected. Being recognized, being remembered, and being respected. Visibility is being remembered, being recognized, and being respected. Also, the goal isn't to post content, right? Listen to this sentence. The goal isn't to post content. It is to build presence, perception, and positioning. It is to build presence, perception, and positioning. And those are the 3 P's I'm going to be talking about today. So, presence, perception, and positioning. Presence, perception, and positioning. And like I said, visibility is not about going viral. It's about becoming valuable in the public. Visibility is not about going viral. It's about being extremely valuable in the public. And when you are valuable, you would impact people. When you are valuable, people would trust you. When people trust you, they can buy from you. Because again, what's the point of helping people when you you can't even earn their trust. Like they won't believe you can help them if they don't trust you. So the importance of visibility in itself is building trust with strangers. You can build trust with your friends. You can build trust with people that know you. There's people that trust me extremely, that are in my friend group right now, right? I don't even need to do a lot of work to convince them. Prior to when I came online, it was like that. They trusted me because of the conversations we've had, because of the interaction that has happened between us, right? So if I have a product and I want to sell to them, because of that same trust, they would be able to buy from me, even though I might need to do some convincing. But again, there's a difference between persuasion and convincing, right? If I have to persuade you and push you, and then I'm saying all of these sweet things to you before you are compelled to buy, then I feel it doesn't make sense at that point. Even convincing is another English word I don't really like, but I think I would still pick convincing over persuasion. Persuasion sounds like yeah, you are not even sure that the product you're selling it to them is fine or not, or is good or not, right? But what visibility does for you is that you earn people's trust without having to persuade them. You earn people's trust without having to oversell yourself. And that's what visibility does for you. So let's talk about the first stage, which is the presence. The presence. So there are three P's: presence, perception, and positioning. And your presence, this is where most people start. Whenever you start posting your content online, you have to be present. You have to be in it. And again, I always even advise people to just start, right? Because, looking back to my own story, I didn't exactly have like a blueprint of all of my stages, but I had an idea of where I was going to. But in order for me to get to where I want to be, I needed to be present in that moment and do certain things. So now, in the present stage, you are posting, experimenting, and figuring out your voice. You can listen to me from now till next year. There's nothing I would say in this podcast today that will be so valuable for you. I mean, it will be valuable. Whatever I'm saying in this podcast will be valuable for you to get your ideas flowing. But it will not give you the right blueprint for the thing that you're trying to do. So there's still that research that you need to do. And the best way to learn, in my opinion, is by doing. I've had people come to me and say they want to learn things like photography, videography, and these are things I can do, or graphic design or web design. And I send them a tutorial, and then they probably don't watch it, or they watch it and they're like, okay, they're done. What's the next step? And I'm like, if you're watching, what did you do? What have you done with the tutorial that I've shared with you? Have you practiced? How many things have you developed? Because at the end of the day, you can watch a 100-hour video. If you don't practice, you will not be good, right? So the essence of the first P, which is the presence, is for you to own your starting stage, to know that I'm not just gathering all of these informations online. I'm actually doing the work, irregardless of what the metrics is saying. In fact, you can start and be so good at whatever you started with that your content goes viral and people like your work, and people are even saying, can you do this for us? Can you sell a product for us? And I get it. Some people might think that's their destination, but the honest truth is, I've seen people pivot from what is working to something else, and I understand why. To be very honest, I understand why. Some people might argue that, why is it that they are pivoting away from what is working? But I think what they don't understand is that once you start doing something because of money, or because of the benefit, or because of the outcomes, and you are not being fulfilled internally, then, in my opinion, I think you are doing a job and not a business. if you want your business to be fulfilling, if you want what you are doing to to be fulfilling is the word, you have to ensure that you love it. It's different between passion and there's someone that I also heard say something that I really liked. He said if you want to become a business owner, don't do a business in what you are passionate in. Make sure that the biz you are excited about the fact that you're doing a business. And I also agree with that, because if you want to become a full-blown entrepreneur, you need to understand what it takes to be a full-blown entrepreneur. And again, you have to try to see. You have to equip yourself. You can read books, you can gain all of this knowledge, but if you don't try, you would not know. See, I've run a lot of businesses and I know that, you know, challenges can just manifest from anywhere. It's things that you think, are impossible to become a thing, they will just start eating you, you know. And as a business owner, you have to have sort of like this resilience or this grit towards things like that, and then keep pushing. That's what makes you a business owner. Yeah, right. So, one mistake that I see a lot of people do is that they are confusing activity with strategy. They are confusing activity with strategy, and I think I spoke about this in the last episode. If you've not seen it, I'll probably attach a link up here. They believe that they can just be posting anything, right? They can wake up, just post a picture of them brushing, or wake up, post a picture of them eating. They think that is consistency. No, don't confuse activity with strategy. Don't confuse activity with strategy. While you're trying to be present, you also need to be strategic. And this is where strategy comes in, and I will explain myself. So for me, my first goal was to be consistent. But what can I post that would also allow me build on my skill? What can I post that I know that I won't falter on? So the one thing that came to mind was the fact that I needed to go to the gym. I used to go to the gym rather, and I could film my workouts. Now, that in itself had its own challenges as well. I had to switch my gym membership, I think, twice or three times, because all of these gyms kept on saying, "No, we don't allow camera." And do you know how awkward it is for you to bring out your camera in the gym and say you want to record yourself? Even now that, content creation is a thing, it's still extremely weird for you to do that. So I finally found a gym that allows you to bring out your camera. And even at that gym, people still approached me and they were like, please make sure I'm not in your video. Can you turn your camera? Your camera is on, it was just a lot. But I had a strategy in mind. So I didn't allow all of those things distract me. So again, don't confuse activity with strategy. What you should focus on is, how can I be consistent? And I just shared an example. How can I be consistent? What are the things that I do on a daily basis that I can be consistent with? And then you take it from there. So I believe consistency is greater than activity. Consistency is greater than activity, right? And if you want to do talking head video like this one, it's part of it. Just be strategic about what you want to say. Before you record the video, make sure you have a script, or make sure you have another to which you want to speak. You don't want to just be speaking freely. All of my short videos are all scripted, and the way I generate my script is very unique. I just have an idea. I have a conversation with a friend, and from the conversation, I extract the script, and then I look at the script over and over and again. Sometimes I use teleprompter to say the script, or you just have to figure it out, and find out what works for you. There are different methodologies, and I'm going to be talking about all of this method and gears in the next episode. But this one, I just wanted us to focus on the 3 Ps so that we can address your current stage and where you need to do, or where you need to be, and the actions you need to take. Also, I want you to think of your presence as, getting people to notice that you exist, right? when I started posting my gym content, I started getting followers. People started appreciating my videography. In fact, I knew that I was good with videography when I started posting content online. Before that, I never cared. I never thought I could position myself as a videographer. It never crossed my mind. The funny thing is, I've been working with photographers and videographers for the last maybe 10 years, just being the guy that helps them with their tripod, helps them with their lights, you know, watch them record their video, watch them edit it. I have an idea, I wasn't new to it. I wasn't a pro before 3 years ago. So even when I got my camera, I made a lot of mistakes. And that's the thing about doing. You can read, you can watch videos, but if you don't practice, you would never know. Right? So when you're posting content, when you're trying to be present, know that you are just trying to get people to notice you. And honestly, the greatest gift you can get from being present is people telling you what you need to focus on. So, for example, if you're a great motivational speaker and you turn on your phone and you're probably even using your phone to record, when people start telling you things like, that your last video, I really like it, it spoke to me, or things like, oh, that your last video, I was about to take an action, and because of what you said in that last video, I changed my mind. Those things are pointers to you to know that you are probably destined to motivate people or be a speaker. This is just an example. For me, it was people coming to me and saying things like, your video quality is T or your video quality is so nice. It's sleek. And I'm like, okay. To me, these things are nothing, right? But it wasn't like that initially, but I figured it out and started playing the game. I started shooting my content. But because people kept on emphasizing about the quality of my video, and I'll be in a group of like 3 people and they will start talking about me without me saying anything, without me introducing myself to them, just because they've seen my content online, right? They'll start saying, oh my God, did you see his last content? Did you see the way, did you see the angle of that video? And I'm like, yo, this thing is very easy. You know, it's not as complex as you people think it is. So that's what visibility tries to, get you. Or people tend to notice you when you're visible, right? So I think the action step I'll give you for this section is to try at least to show up online once a week and stop hiding behind, I'm planning, I'm strategizing. Strategize, but start. Strategy is good. I'm all for strategy. In fact, I'm a strategic planner. Even this podcast is a strategy, right? Be strategic, but make sure you come in front of camera. I'm still not good with podcasting. Sometimes I forget the words I want to say, or I stammer and I stumble on my words. I know I will get better because the more I do this, the more I get used to talking freely and then educating people. It's really difficult for me to talk and communicate my ideas because right now I'm just looking at the lens of my camera, right? But if I'm in front of people, I can talk freely, I can educate them on my ideas, and I get instant feedback from their reaction. And there's something about when people do like this, you know, that thing keeps you motivated and keeps you growing and going, and ideas just keeps dropping in your head. Anyways, let's go to the second level or the second P, which is the intentional stage. Now you've started, you're already present, people have started noticing your work, started posting, you are getting better, and you sort of like found your rhythm. You're either posting once or twice or 3 times a week. In fact, mine was crazy. I was posting like 5 times because it was workout, right? And I used to see all of this fancy edit online. So I'll look at the edits, copy the edit, tweak it, make it my own, and I'll post. And the feedback was so great. In fact, it got to a point that people started consulting me to be a personal trainer. And I kept on telling them that, hey, I'm not a fitness trainer, I'm not a coach. But people are now always like, you can do it, you can put it. But I knew that wasn't my calling. That's not what I want to do. Maybe I would have made a lot of money by now, anyways. But I know it's not my calling. I wouldn't be fulfilled doing it. Right now, I train some of my friends for free because I've spent a lot of years in the gym and I know what to do. Right now, for the perception stage, which is the intentional stage, or the second P, the second level, this is where you start being intentional about your message, your visual, and your tone. And yes, for me, before I transitioned, I tested. So I was shooting my fitness content, and then there was a day that I wanted to do talking head video. I knew I was going to land in a talking head video position. That has been my goal from the start. So posting gym content was just a way for me to be present. So one of the days I now tried speaking to the camera, and I posted the video. I think I posted the video. Maybe it was the second one I posted. I'm not sure of the first one. And yeah, it was decent, right? So that's how I transitioned. But I didn't switch to something. I switched to something that was sort of like relating to what I was doing. So I think it was about training, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was about maybe how you can motivate yourself to go to the gym 2 to 3 times. I can't really remember right now. It's a long time ago. Anyways, that's how I started transitioning. So I found my rhythm, but again, I needed to find my voice, my tone. So I started recording, maybe at least 1 in 2 weeks. I'll do talking head video, and then I fully transitioned, right? And this is where the sort of like the branding for my all my videos came from. There was the people can now see the quality. When you shoot at the gym, there's like different lighting scenarios, and you can't really control the effect of the lights on your shoot and all of that, right? But doing talking head video like this allowed me to expose my shot correctly. It allowed me to keep my settings in a stagnant way, and it's consistent throughout the whole of the video. But when I shoot at the gym, it's all over the place, and people will still see the quality, but they can't really tell if you're good or not. And also, what talking head video did for me is that I was able to have a style and look, right? And when I fully now transitioned into talking head videos, everybody loved the quality. Beyond, I believe people love the quality beyond the message I was passing, right? Some of my message used to eat anyways, because I started, what was I doing? I started motivating people, and it wasn't even about visibility at that point in time. It was just general ideas that I'm getting from either books or from message or from like a speaker, and I come online and I summarize it, or I share my own take on it. And I loved it because I like to, I'm just one person that likes to share my idea. I like to discuss my idea, and I like to see if people are saying things the way I'm saying it, right? Because my mind can just be all over the place. And I think every creative is like this. So, anyways, so your perception stage, or your perception level, which is level 2, is where you are branding, you are starting to use storytelling to own your craft. No matter what you're doing, you still have to learn how to storytell. Storytelling would allow you elevate your brand. And one mistake that I see a lot of people do when they are in their presence level is that they try to please everyone instead of deepening their message. They want to, and I think I fell for that too. At some point I'll try to do vlog. At some point I'll see what someone else is doing. Maybe someone is filming outdoor. I'll try and copy their style, but it's hectic, right? So I think at this stage you should evolve. Don't get me wrong, but at this stage you have to develop your style, develop your brand. This is where you can, do a lot of testing and see what's working and what is not working, what you like visually. This is where you need to start testing all of those things out. I'm an advocate for taking action, but if gear setup is delaying you, I think you should figure out a way for it not to delay you. And for most of my clients, this is what I tell them. I'm like, the reason why you're paying me is because you don't want to figure out the tech side of it. I've already figured it out, and it's my leverage. And that leverage is why you need to pay me, right? I've already spent years, not months, I spent years learning how to craft a style. You are paying me for the years of learning and not just for the hour that I'm being with you. So my point is, at this stage, don't try to please everyone. Just try to work on your message. Try to create a brand around yourself. I've seen a lot of high level people having one particular style, even though they switch it up sometimes, but you would know that this person has carefully curated what they want their look to be like, and from there they go up and up. Not today I'm vlogging, tomorrow I'm doing talking head, next tomorrow I'm interviewing someone on the street. Just make a decision of what you want to do and then try to perfect it. At this stage, I also think you need to focus on clarity and trust. Think about how do you want people to perceive you when they see your content, and it's what I just spoke about. Once you have the branding nailed down or drilled down, you are good to go. People will start seeing you if your video is clean, if your environment is clean, if your people will start looking at you differently. People will start respecting you. I heard so many comments about my video, and I have a mentor that I look at his video and I try my best to match his quality. I don't even think I've matched his quality just yet. And I think we once said that once someone approached him and said, you are the cleanest guy online. You don't know if he's actually really clean at home, but the truth is, because of how his video looks, it sends a certain perception to everyone looking at him through a phone screen, right? So work on it, build your personal brand intentionally, right? Everybody says, not everybody, most people think that they are not building a personal brand if they are not online. The truth is, everybody has a personal brand. Now, it's your choice to tailor it to favor you or not. If you decide that you don't want to be visible and you don't want to tweak your branding in a certain way, then that's on you, not on anyone. But if you want to be relevant in the next 5 years, again, if you've not seen the last episode, you should watch it. If you want to be relevant in the next 5 years, I think this is the best time to start positioning yourself for it. So the final P, or the final level, which is level 3, is positioning. This is your authority stage. Now at this stage, you've already found your voice, you found your style. Now you're trying to build authority, right? People already trust you. People are already familiar with your face. Now you have a lane. People can easily know that that is your content even without you, or even without your face showing, rather. People would know that, this is Luke's content. This is Mary's look. This is, John's or Jesse look, right? People should know. And there are so many people that I don't even need to see the face of the creator. I kind of know what their content looks like because they have a style, right? And when you have a style, you don't need to do a lot of marketing or sell your product or service. People start coming to you without you approaching them. And there's nothing sweet like having unlimited leads. And I say unlimited because people that consume your content are not just people that follow you. Some people see your content every day and they are not your follower. When they have the money and they are ready to work with you, they will reach out to you. And this happened to me countless times. And I just get wowed and amazed when that happens to me. Because again, it's not by running ads. I've run ads so many times and it didn't work. And it's very difficult for you to trust a stranger. There's belief when they don't even know you. I think there is I don't know if it's a 7-7 rule or a 4-4 rule or something. And the person was saying, before someone buys from you, they must have either engaged with you through, I think, 4 different channels, maybe video, newsletter, social media, YouTube, newsletter, maybe Instagram and LinkedIn. There was a way the person coined the statements or the framework, and it was like oh, they must have spent certain amount of hours to you. I don't know if it's psychology thing or something. I've not actually done the research for that. But I think what they're trying to say is that people need to spend a certain amount of hours with you before they buy from you. So imagine if someone has been consuming your content on the back end and it stacks up to, let's just give it 7, stacks up to that 7 hours. It will be easy for the person to buy from you because in their mind, the person feels like they know you, they are your friend, or they are connected to you, connected with you. I've had strangers message me like, we are childhood friends, and you know, it's just what it is. You cannot take offense from. I'm not even saying offense. You are supposed to be glad that people see you that way, and people are able to do that because they've consumed your content a lot to the point that they are now more confident in approaching you because they feel like they know you, right? So one mistake that I see a lot of people do all the time, at this stage when they are already an authority in their space is thinking their visibility ends, when they have the authority. I feel like, and I've mentioned it before, it doesn't. It evolves. It evolves. That's why I said these 3 P's are the ones that I've tested and I've done right now. I believe I'm in an authority space. I like to believe so. And I say this humbly. But I know there's that next phase that I'm trying to get to. I've recognized it and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. So, at this stage, the things that you need to focus on, are like systems, leverage, and sort of like teaching others what you know. Maybe in the process of teaching others what you find a new voice, a new level that you can take advantage of, right? And then at this authority level, you also need to build systems. You need to find a rhythm that works for you. So, for example, I decided that I wanted to start, my own podcast, even though I didn't really want to do it initially, but I felt like this podcast is just a place where I want people to come hang with me. That's why I honestly just leave all of my mistakes, all of my errors, all of my nuances in the video because I I care for the podcast, but I want you to hang with me. This is the way I would communicate with you if you are standing in front of me or if we are having a conversation. We will not be having a real life conversation and then I'll forget a word and I'll be shy to admit it, or I'll pronounce a word wrongly and then I'll now be feeling a type of way if I'm editing. You can't edit real life conversation. Sorry. Um, yeah. So that's it. So at this stage, once you've positioned yourself, figure out your systems, figure out your leverage, and then start teaching others. You can decide to teach others for free via YouTube. You can decide to start consulting for people, charge people money, and you can even build a business from there. So I think the action step for this stage is to start sort of like sharing your framework and not just your wins. I know a lot of times we usually like to, or we are tempted to say the amount and figures to which our content has brought in for us, but I think that's inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Yes, people are attracted to the numbers. Last year we made $2 million. 3 years ago we made $4 million. Yes, people will would have fear of missing out in their mind, and then they are prone to buy from you. But I always feel like that thing is misleading, in my own opinion. But I can be wrong, right? So instead of sharing your wins, teach people your strategy. Now you can charge people to teach them your strategy, right? At the end of the day, your win is your win. Nobody can take it away from you. But what would really impact people and what would, increase your visibility is when you can replicate how you won in the life of other people. So the core lessons from this episode is that visibility is a journey and you evolve through different levels. The people who win are those who know where they are and what to focus on next. You have to first of all recognize where you are and where you need to go in order for you to win. You can't win if you don't know your next 5, 6, 7 steps. As I am like this, I know where I'm headed towards. I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and I was telling him, I know that I'm doing this podcast right now alone, but that's not my goal. My goal in this initial stage is to just be, comfortable speaking to the camera for a, longer time or a lengthier time, and then eventually I'm going to bring on a co-host, maybe even in the next episode, and then we're going to share ideas, banter, and that way it's more interesting to watch when people watch it. And then from there, I have an idea of my next or my first 3 guests that I'm trying to approach. What strategy am I using to go and contact these people? I've already started figuring those things out. If you want to win, you have to know how to plan. Anyways, and I think the last one is, don't try and skip any of these 3 levels. Master one, build on it, and then progress. In conclusion, so that this podcast is not too long, I feel like I've been talking for 3 hours, but I think it's still less than an hour. In the next episode, I would be breaking down, how to move through all of this level faster. And especially if you're starting small, because I started from one place. I started using my video initially. I started using my phone. Why did I say my video? I started using my phone to film my videos initially. And I will also show you the kind of gears and setup that it sort of like fits each of these stages of your visibility, and so you can sort of like grow smart and not broke. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for today. If you enjoy this podcast and you enjoy this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Share it to someone that you know would benefit from watching this video. If you have a friend, a family member that has been having conversations with you about becoming visible online or selling a product, and they are saying things like, I can't stand in front of a camera, that can never be me, or things like, I want to be able to deliver my points fluently and I've been struggling with it. What can I do? And they have all of these questions of, or they have all of these sort of like challenges of, content creation is difficult. I wish I can be as eloquent. I wish I can be a fast or smooth talker like this other person. And they're sort of like comparing themselves to people. Share this video with them, because I feel like this video would help them, build up their confidence, and then they can slowly progress in their journey to becoming visible. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the podcast. I'll see you on the next one. Peace!